Yeah?
Yeah.
My number one then is FIFA 15. A little bit on Xbox One, mainly on PC. Actually done the review for PC Gamer. It might be on their website now. It's certainly going to be in the next issue. I believe it's appearing online. So, it might be up there by the time you hear this. So I played plenty of the demo before, obviously, but on with the final version. On Xbox One, if you're signed up to EA Access, admittedly by the time you're hearing this, the game is actually out. But it allowed you to have a 6 hours worth of trial. I was going to say free trial, but it's not technically a free trial if you're on EA Access, which was good. It was good to play some of the game like that while I was waiting for the PC version to download. But they're basically the exact same. The PC version this year, unlike previous years, is the proper Ignite engine-fueled next-gen, in inverted commas, version of the game. So PC players aren't getting stitched up this time. And it runs well on my sort of upper mid-rig. Runs lovely. First, it's one of those games that allows you to play it while it's downloading. And I put it on and it was like all skipping the audio and the frame rate was terrible. I was like, oh God, it's going to be a nightmare. I'm going to be in the menus the whole time. But then after I let it download, it just runs fine. There was a couple of audio skips here and there, but nothing worth mentioning really. So just down to the game itself, which is nice instead of having to talk about that sort of bollocks. And pretty much the same sort of opinions that I've had about it the whole time. I do think fundamentally that this is the best FIFA there has been. Mainly because of I'm going to give it 3 reasons. Firstly, it's the most responsive FIFA has been, so therefore dribbling is a lot better. You can make quick, instinctive, reactive movements with your player to beat other players, which is something FIFA has always massively struggled with unless you were going to fiddle about with the trick stick, which isn't really what football's about. It's much easier to just navigate your way around players quickly this time. That makes a huge amount of difference. The keepers, which they're calling next-gen keepers, which basically is a meaningless sentence, but they, true to whatever those words might be, they have had a radical overhaul with not only a ton of new animations, but they just behave in far more believable ways. For starters, crucially, one of the ways that they've countered the through ball problem from FIFA 14 is that keepers will sprint out of their goal like Manuel Neuer in the World Cup and clear the ball. Occasionally, very, very occasionally, that might leave them in no man's land, as it does in football. That's quite a fairly common sight in real football, to see a goalie run out of his goal, the striker takes it round him and slots it in. That will happen very occasionally, and I saw it a couple of times in my time on FIFA 15, but most of the time they'll go out, smash the ball into touch. That helps a lot in countering the through ball tactics from FIFA 14. They also, you can now score through their legs, stuff like you would have probably thought could have been in there and should have been in there for years, but actually wasn't. Quite often, in real football, you'll see the ball go through a goalie's legs in a one-on-one. It just means there's more variety in the types of goals that are being scored, and that kind of bleeds out across the pitch because there is just more variety in play. There's more variety in expression. The players don't feel so robotic because of this new drama and emotional side of the game they tried to capture, which, yes, is tantamount mainly to cutscenes, but you will still see, inevitably you're going to see the beginning of cutscenes as you're playing a game of FIFA anyway, or if you're playing someone who won't skip cutscenes online, you're going to see them. And they're better than they've ever been. Miss a chance in the 89th minute in a tight game, your striker will collapse to his knees, other players around him will react instead of just staring vacantly into space and sort of rotating on the spot. That is also still in there, but it's way better than it has been. It just makes the whole thing feel more organic I should say, and generally believable, but it still somehow doesn't really feel like football. And I think I've hit the nail on the head. I've said in previous years it's because the game doesn't have a midfield, and that's kind of unfair in FIFA 15 because if you're playing against the computer, a lot of the play is in midfield while you're playing against 2 banks of 4, sort of 8 defensive players. More like it would be in real football, but the AI is still far too dribble happy and it's not much fun playing the AI. So you're going to be playing online. And online, it's still far too easy to get the ball to your striker from defence. People will hammer the pass button, and 9 times out of 10, it will just ping a pass. If you're playing with a good team, this is, and you should be able to play with 5-star teams. For most people, that's what playing football game is all about. Playing with Real Madrid, playing with Manchester United, playing with, you could argue they're not a 5-star team at the moment, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? playing with Arsenal, playing with Chelsea, the star players. People want to play with star players. That's why their faces look so realistic. That's why their stats are done. That's why they have specific animations. For most people, that's what the game's about. I know other people argue against that. It's way, way, way too easy to get the ball to your strikers just by pressing that pass button, and then that means that it's almost impossible to maintain a kind of sense of attacking momentum. If you were to watch a football match where a good team is playing a less good team, you'll see, like, most of the time one team will be an attack and the other team will be clearing, and they'll have brief periods of possession and a few attacks, but most of the game will be one team attacking, one team defending, or there might be a more even game where there are periods of that happening. But in FIFA, almost every game is just played in transition, which is a term from basketball, which is just we attack, you attack, we attack, you attack, we attack, you attack. Now, in real life, when that does happen in football occasionally, makes for some great matches. But if every football match was like that, it wouldn't be special. And FIFA 15, almost every single match is like that, especially when you're playing online. And even though it makes radical improvements over FIFA 14's through ball problem and other issues that dogged FIFA 14, it still just feels like this kind of breakneck, weird game of basketball football that ultimately can just feel a little hollow. I rate the game. I'm going to enjoy playing it for the 2 months before Pro Evolution Soccer comes out. It's definitely a lot better than FIFA 14, although ask me in 8 months and I might be swearing at this one as much as I was at FIFA 14, yet they still haven't quite captured the beating heart of association football.